Hey everybody, Yeti here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex First Assault Online. So yeah, it's a little bit of a long name, so we're just going to call it First Assault for short, just so we don't have to keep calling it that. Yeah. So this game is a new online competitive multiplayer first-person shooter, and it's currently in an open beta, which you can gain access to via Steam. It will cost you a bit of money. It's £4 or $5 if you want to get in it, but you can spend a bit more depending on the amount of content you want, up to about $30. But this game will be free to play once it's fully released. However, yeah, it is available now in an open beta if you want to play it for yourself, but you will have to pay a little bit. And in my opinion, it is definitely worth the money. But if you want to wait and get it for free, then the game will be free on release. And basically, what this game is like I said before, it is a multiplayer first-person shooter, but it's actually based around the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex universe. I've never actually seen this anime, but the developers themselves said that it's based around episode 24 of season 1, and essentially the team in the show is wrongly accused, and they end up having to work together as a team to get some serious tactical combat going on, and the developers wanted to base a game around this because they think it would have been fun to see how the team of Section 9 actually worked in the show. So this was sort of their main inspiration for the game, and that's what they built the game around. So with regards to the games itself, I'm going to talk about the sort of main points of the game first, and then we'll go into the problems that I've had with it towards the end. So at the start of the game, you get to choose between one of 6 operatives, and basically there are 6 operatives available now, but we think there's going to be more in the future. But there's not necessarily been any confirmation of this yet, but we do think there'll be more in the future. But basically the way it works, you get to choose an operative at rank 1, you get to choose another one at rank 3, and then another one at rank 5, and then the rest of them you have to unlock with GP credits. And GP credits are something which you unlock as you play the game through leveling up, through just getting score in the game. The more score you get, the more GP credits you get. And these things will be used to buy guns, attachments, and operatives. Now you can buy this sort of stuff, there is microtransactions. Obviously it's a free game, so it will need the support. But everything you get through microtransactions you can actually get just through playing the game. But yeah, like I said, so there are these 6 operatives, and basically each operative has its own ability. So there are a wide range of abilities, from invisibility to a seeker drone, which is like this drone that flies itself and it flies into enemies and blows up. You can shoot rockets from your wrist, you get super speed, you can get heat vision. So there is a variety of skills available already, but they are planning on hopefully adding more in the future, at least to my knowledge. But talking about the skills themselves, essentially the way it works is you will start with one use of the skill at the start of each game, but once you use it you need to charge up your skill bar, and the way you do this is by completing objectives if you're doing an objective mode, or alternatively you can do it by killing enemies. I'll talk about the different game modes themselves in a minute, but yeah. So there's basically 2 tiers to every ability. You'll get your tier 1, which you'll be able to use earlier, and then you'll be able to use that for yourself and you'll get your ability. There is actually a tier 2. If you wait longer and get more points, you'll use a tier 2, and that will allow your teammates to engage in something called skill sync. And basically what skill sync is, it is something which basically pushes the team aspect of the game, and it basically allows, if someone has their skill active, a teammate can come near them, hit E, and then they get their skill as well. So say for example, if I have my invisibility active and if I have skill sync and someone comes along and hits E, they'll get invisibility as well. So it's really cool. It really incentivizes working together as a team and sticking together, because it means that you'll get a lot more done in the way of skills. And something you can actually unlock to upgrade your character is Augments. And basically you get an augment at the end of each game. You'll be given 3 nodes and you'll get to choose one, and it'll be a random thing. And the way these work is you'll get a bit of a stat boost, so it could be 10% extra XP, or you'll have a slightly faster aim down sight time, and you'll apply these to your character, and what these do is you'll get these skill boosts for a certain amount of time. So say for the experienced one, you'll maybe get 10% extra experience for an hour of play. Basically what these means is they will give you little bonuses, little extra experiences, make the game a little bit easier, but it won't be too overpowered, it won't make it imbalanced, because at the end of the day, not only does everyone have access to these, they're also only for a limited time as well. And also from my test so far, you can't actually stack these, so you can't get 5 faster aim down sights and then just be an instant aim down sight. But I don't know if that's just the way it works or not, but basically that's the way I found it. With regards to actual game modes, at the moment there are 3 game modes in the game, but they do plan to add others. But these are more just for the sort of beta testing, because like I said before, it is the beta. So currently there's a team deathmatch, which I'm pretty sure you guys know what that means at this point. It's pretty much just for the casual players, and this is what I play as someone who isn't that good at games like this. The goal of it is just to kill the enemies. There's also a game mode called Terminal Conquest, which is basically you'll get these areas around the map which you have to capture and hold, and if you hold the area for long enough, you'll not only get points, but you can spawn in these awesome tank things called think tanks. And you basically want to control these areas and push the teammates back and try and control them for as long as possible, and then it'll move on to the next area, and then you want to control that. And obviously controlling these areas gives you access to the tanks, And if you aren't the one controlling it, if the enemies are controlling it, you want to be destroying the tanks and try and pushing them away from those areas so you can control them for yourselves. This one's pretty fun if you're into like high octane action, because a lot of it is on slightly smaller maps, but it's also pretty good because if it's one area, you'll get a bunch of people who have the area which will be defending it, and the rest of the people will be attacking the area, so you get a lot of concentrated traffic in one area with a lot of action going on. So if you're into that sort of thing, as opposed to like running around the map finding people to kill, this will definitely be for you. So the third and final game mode is Demolition, and this you'll be very familiar with. It's basically similar to Search and Destroy or Demolition in something like CSGO, and basically you have one life each round, and the aim of it is to either plant the bomb or to defuse the bomb, or alternatively to wipe out the enemy team. So in regards to the actual weapons, there's quite a few weapons in the game already, but they are planning on adding more. So when you start the game, you got given 3 weapons, pretty well-known weapons, and basically the weapon system in this game is based around real-world weapons, which have been slightly upgraded for future combat. So when you start the game, there are 3 weapons available, and these are weapons which are really well known to everyone. You've got an M4A1, you have an MP5 variant, and you have an L11A8A. But as you go on, you can use your GP credits to not only upgrade these weapons, but also to buy new weapons, things like an AK-47, there are shotguns available, there are machine guns available, LMGs, so there's quite a lot of available, but they are planning on adding more in the future as well, on top of what they've already got. Now with regards to the weapon system itself, everything feels pretty good. In combat, everything's pretty smooth and flowing, and nothing so far feels too overpowered or anything. I feel like the balance is really good. And the thing that's great about this game is not only can you upgrade your weapons by adding attachments, such as you can have like a laser sight so your hip fire is better, you can have a drum, you can have a grip, you change your sights, and it's really easy to work. You can just go into the customization system. It's got a nice simple UI, and every time you go to add a new attachment, it will tell you specifically what that attachment will do for you. And once again, these attachments are unlocked using GP credits. And another thing I want to talk about with this game is there is a bit of a melee system in it as well. When you've actually got your weapon out, there's no way to melee, but you do actually have this awesome sort of sword things that comes out your arm, and it's pretty cool. It doesn't do a ton of damage if you're just running in and trying to kill people, but what you can actually do is stealth kill people in this game, and although it can sometimes be pretty hard to do, this is great if you want to sneak past. You can actually do this thing where you can obviously crouch, but there's actually a dedicated sneak button, which is by default caps lock, and you can use that to sneak up to people and like murder them pretty much. So that's pretty fun if you want to try and flank around the enemy and try and get some stealth kills. It's basically like playing the spy, and I think if you synergize this with the invisible ability, which is what I have from the beginning, you can definitely get some pretty fun stuff going. So something I did want to mention with this game is that teamwork, if you want to get this game, teamwork is incredibly important. Now, I'm not saying that if you run around by yourself, you're not going to do a good job, but especially in the objective-heavy game modes, if you stick together as a team, you're going to do so much better. Like 9 times out of 10, one person going up against 2 people, the 2 people are definitely going to win it. Now, I have gone up against 2 people and won in a couple of situations, but for the most part, sticking together as a team is definitely a better option. Especially considering the fact that kill sync is a thing in this game. So if you run in, someone's got invis, someone's got like super speed or whatever, you can get kill sync going on, and then all of a sudden, the whole team has got invis as long as they're sticking together. But the way I've sort of noticed it is the maps seem to go in like lanes, so you'll maybe have a left and a right lane, and it sort of comes together at the middle for the most part. So the way that often seems to work, you usually have the teams splitting off, half it'll go right and half it'll go left. And I think this is pretty good because it means the teams are sticking together, even if it's not like the whole team, but I don't think the whole team would really make much sense together, so I think this works really well. And something which I have noticed with this game is that the spawns are set. So the way it works, you'll have the spawns on one side for one team and the spawns on the other side for the other team. But what's really good about this game is that at no point so far have I found that I've been sort of being spawn trapped and I've got stuck in the spawn. You will usually find yourselves like one team will be pushing a bit harder than the other, but you can usually push back pretty well. And something which is a little bit bonus for me because I'm not that great at this sort of game, if you go on the leaderboard, you can't actually see the amount of deaths. Everyone's got just the kills and the assists, so it does really it makes people feel good about working as a team. But yeah, now I'm just going to come on to the problems of the game, the things which I think need fixing, and there aren't that many so far. I've played about 5 hours of the game, and I'm really into it, and I've not seen a ton of problems, but there are some things which I think are worth a mention. And first of all, I just want to say, don't forget that this is the open beta, so the game isn't finished, and on the menu screen there is actually they have a forum where you can go and talk about bugs and, talk about improvements for the game, so they are really open to suggestions, but I just thought I'd talk about these anyway, especially considering there is a chance that you guys will be investing money into this, which is what I did. So first of all, I have had a couple of crashes. I think I've had 4 crashes total over the course of about 5 hours. It usually happens when I join a lobby. As I join the lobby, it'll crash, and then I have to close the game and restart it. Not a big deal, but it's a bit annoying when I just want to hop into a quick game. Next up, something that can be really sucky is head glitching, and if you don't know what head glitching is, it's basically more of a COD-based thing where people stand by like some cover, which is just the right height where they can shoot over it, but to the enemy, only the head is actually over it. So I've seen this a lot with snipers. They'll be hanging out, and they'll be able to snipe you easily, but it's really hard for you to hit them. and I just think that's a bit of a problem. It's not necessarily a huge problem, but it's a bit of a pain in the dick. And this one's a bit of a small thing. I have had some situations with people camping, which have been pretty hard to take out, like around corners and stuff. For the most part, this isn't an issue, because in the objective-based game modes, so far, you need to be moving around anyway, otherwise it won't work. But for TDM, you know, it is pretty fast-paced and there's a lot of movement, but sometimes you will get people camping in corners. So yeah, that's been my review into Ghost in the Shell at First Assault. I would recommend picking it up for the £4 / $5 / $5.49 Canadian dollars, whatever your respective currency is. I would recommend picking this up, because so far, it's really fun to get to play it early, and it is a really fun game as it is, even though it isn't finished, and there's still quite a lot of content there. It's definitely worth picking up, in my opinion. However, if you're not necessarily into the sort of competitive multiplayer genre, then maybe you're better off waiting to get it for free. Having said that, I'm not really into it, and I'm still having a ton of fun with it. So yeah, it's definitely a fun game, and you should go and pick it out. But other than that, that's all I've got to say. I may make some videos on it in the future, maybe some tips, maybe some live comments, but at the moment, I'm just working on trying to get a bit better at playing the game itself. But until then, yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be awesome. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
On
Peace,
the
peace.
way down screaming, whoa, if all we have is time, then we'll be alright.